Well, hello and welcome to the Nadia podcast. I'm your host, Nadia Cater, and today's episode is a special episode on advocacy. We are focusing on our current cohort of student ambassadors. So today, Jamie's back on as my co-host, and we are talking to New Mexico's current student ambassadors. So Jamie, take it away, introduce yourself.
Hi, yes, and thank you so much for having me as always. My name is Jamie Trujillo. I am the Executive Director of the New Mexico Adult Education Association. And so within that role, advocacy is a big part. So my job is to train and support the student ambassadors, who we are going to be talking to in a little bit, as well as engaging in a lot of different advocacy activities, such as legislative meetings, marketing, outreach, and adult education day. So advocacy is a big part of my job, and I'm really happy to be here with the student ambassadors today. So with that said, I'm going to have the student ambassadors introduce themselves. You're going to say your name and the program that you either attended or are currently attending. And we are going to start with Zane.
Hello, everybody. I am Zane Stevenson, and I am from the Roswell part of New York.
Hello, my name is Samuel Gobaldon. I'm from the Luna Community College program, CCRI.
Hello, everyone. I am Leah Ellis. I am part of Next Steps Adult Education, Valencia Campus, UNM in Los Lunes.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anna Lee. I'm with the Doña Ana Community College Adult Education Program.
Hi, my name is Linnea Yazzie, and I come from the Adult Education branch here at the New Mexico State in Grants, New Mexico.
My name is Cruz Anaya. I'm currently attending Northern New Mexico College in Española. I'm in the Adult Education program, and I've been there since, I believe it's been since July 2023.
Oh, thank you all. I'm just, like I said, I'm so excited today. This is a very special episode of advocacy, and it's great to really hear from you guys, especially you're all from different parts around New Mexico. So my first question is pretty general, and that's what made you guys decide to apply for the Student Ambassador Program?
What made me decide to apply was the person running the program, Professor Lisa Benson, said, "Sam, will you do this? You think you'd be great at advocacy, or I don't really know what all this is about, but I think you'd be great at it." So I applied, and I'm grateful to the experience that I've gotten from it so far.
I would like to say that I had already started working with one of my instructors at the Valencia campus, because there was the information from the Roundhouse at Adult Education last year, being a student of the year, that I had learned about the connection to the funding side of what people are doing for education, continuing education here in New Mexico, and just trying to bridge a gap on my campus with my co-students became the reason that I jumped on the possibility and the invite through my instructor to be able to funnel my energy appropriately, I guess you could say, and in that direction, being proactive, of course.
One of the reasons I am so honored to apply and be part of the student advocacy was because I really have a passion to help other individuals like myself, which I was a former GED student myself, let them know how important the funding is to adult education, and learn more of how to spread the word, not only to my community in the area where I live, but also learn how to address this to the legislators to continue funding our program. That's very important to me. Without their funding, there's nothing we can do. So That's why. Thank you.
So I joined because I saw that there was going to be traveling, and I love traveling. I'd do anything to go traveling, and I was going to be a part of adult education once again, and it was a very good route for me. It was very exciting, and I was just excited for everything for all. So
I was encouraged to join. This is Linnea. I was encouraged to join, kind of like Samuel said. I kind of just have, my own story and stuff, and getting my GED is a big part of my story. And the head lady at the GED department there, because I did work study in the GED department here at the Grants branch in MSU University, it was kind of surprising to me how much people didn't really know about it. People in my own family. I've actually was able to persuade one of my uncles to go back and get his GED. So he's actually going back and taking his test right now. And it was really crazy to me how many people didn't really know about this opportunity, or how many people really felt like it was too late for them, And so that's one of the reasons why.
So the reason I decided to join the Student Ambassador Program was to really just for the learning experience and growth, and also just to be able to learn more about the legislator and learn more about how the adult education programs affect us or how they benefit us in our communities.
Wow. Thank you guys for sharing just a little bit about yourselves. So this is kind of a more broad question, which is, what does advocacy mean to you? I know some of you guys touched on that just a little bit in your introduction, but this isn't just an opportunity to really kind of expound on that. And just because of how things kind of, popcorn around, why don't we start with Leah?
Advocacy to me has really been a surprise. As far as discussing continuing education was the last thing I ever thought I'd be doing. And, and just showing support for the NMEA organization and support for where I'm getting my education. The education became pivotal in understanding what a gift I have given myself. It's the biggest thing I've ever done to myself, for myself. So I can only imagine what I feel inside of my body and what I've experienced to promote something like that for somebody else who probably carried a stereotype or two on their shoulders long before they ever walked into even considering signing up to do their GED. So the other part of the advocacy has become more of a joy now. I mean, this is another gift of just saying, you can do this. You can do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do that. You can also do this. And what's a better way to help people than to encourage them to complete something, a space in their life and not be afraid, I think is why I am so invested and involved at this point.
Wow, what an answer. Leah, really wonderfully put. Thank you. Zane, is it okay if you go next?
So advocacy means to me, people are going to actually succeed with my part in the team. They're going to afford a job now that they can get a GED, and they don't have to put a stop into it. They can afford Christmas like me, and they can travel too. They can literally just do anything that they can without having to put a stop because of their GED. And I'm just really glad to be a part of it.
That's also wonderfully put. And yeah, the travel is such a great bonus. Zane, thank you. Samuel, do you want to go next?
Absolutely. What advocacy means to me, it's about spreading awareness to people for the future. In my case, I want to really make sure that as many people understand how important it is to better your life or have potential and investment in yourself, and that you can do this. A real pleasure about advocacy is not only speaking to legislators, but speaking to people in my own family who don't understand a lot of the struggles, tribulations, a lot of people that stereotype, that say things about adult education. And I have lovely examples. I actually often refer back to my co-ambassadors, believe it or not, when talking about just the type of people in adult education. And it really means spreading awareness for a cause that's really important to society. And that's where I'm at with that.
Really, again, wonderfully put. Thank you so much.
You know, this idea of this quote unquote stereotypical adult ed student is something that we've talked about within our conversations. And I think that it's very important that as many people know your stories. And Samuel, you're doing that. You're playing that part in making sure that this idea of the lazy, the slacker, the person who just didn't want to go to school, you know, that is not true. That's not your stereotypical adult ed student. There isn't one. There isn't a stereotypical adult ed student. There are so many different stories. So I think that is really important.
Really well put. Thank you. Yeah. Annalie, do you want to answer? Are you ready to answer that question?
Yes, I'm ready. Absolutely. Yes. So what does advocacy mean for you? It means two things. As Samuel put it, bring awareness about the program, how it benefits our community, and also advocate for our fellow community members that, like they were saying, age is a number. I'm a former GED student, and I started my GED when I was 49 because I always thought family always comes first, and anything that's for you and you alone has to be put on a standstill. I don't want that to repeat itself with single parent women or, you know, young parents. You know, I don't want that to continue. I want to break that circle, make them aware and advocate that education does not need to be put on hold. It could start at any age, young or old, and you will succeed as long as you want. And that's mainly what advocacy means to me. Advocate for education and don't wait till the right time, because there's never going to be a right time.
Excellent. Linnea?
Well, honestly, I had to Google the definition of advocacy, and I know advocacy is important. You know, it's a lot bigger than myself and my whole story. Like when I agreed to come on this journey with myself and everybody else, you know, for adult education and for higher learning, I it's almost like I agreed to, like I said, it's bigger than myself. It's not just about me. I'm representing a lot of sides to this whole thing. You know, I'm a single mother. I'm Native American. I'm in recovery. I'm currently going through this living transition. Like there's just so many ways that I should fail and that I'm being expected to fail. But everyone kind of knows about my story. Getting my GED was one of the first big accomplishments I've ever done in my whole entire life. And I've always stuck with that. And, you know, having that accomplishment go on for me, I'm able to accomplish other things in my life. You know, I'm starting my second semester of college. I'm currently working towards my associate's degree in social work. And if I never got my GED, I probably would never be able to do these things. And so I don't know if it makes sense, but it's bigger than me. You know, I'm doing this for everybody who feels like they can't. I'm doing this for not just myself, but everybody who's walked in my shoes before. So that's what it means to me.
Really excellent. Well put. Thank you so much. Cruz, what does advocacy mean to you?
So advocacy to me means informing people or informing others, giving people knowledge, talking about your own experiences, and being a voice for others is what advocacy is to me.
Thank you guys. Really wonderful. And you can clearly hear your interest, your passion. I really appreciate that. I'm going to turn it over to Jamie just for her questions.
Okay, so my next question is specifically for Cruz, because as many, or as all the student ambassadors know, and now our listeners are going to know, Cruz scheduled and coordinated and created the agenda for and led a legislative meeting last month. And so, Cruz, I was just hoping that you can share with us your experience doing all of that scheduling and coordinating and leading, and you know how that felt, and any takeaways you have from that.
So at the beginning, it was a little bit nerve-wracking. I wasn't really too sure where to even begin, but I did ask the advice of my other co-ambassadors and ask for like topics that we could discuss. And so I implemented the director and my instructor's experience and the adult education program, what it means to them, and then also I told my story, and I had another student in the classroom share her story as well. And it was very, at the end, we asked 3 questions to the senator or the representative, and it was very informative. It was a great learning experience to be able to learn the different ways that they're trying to help us continue to push for adult education. So it was a great experience at the end. We were all very happy with the way it went.
Thank you so much. And I will reiterate, because I don't think I mentioned this earlier, that, this has never been done by a student ambassador. We've never had a student ambassador completely lead a meeting. And, I can only imagine how nerve-wracking that is at first. And so, thank you so much for taking that initiative. And just as a little plug, there will also be a legislative site visit, right? You do have a state senator that is going to be visiting on Thursday, I believe, at your campus.
Yes, this Thursday we will be having Senator Leo Jaramillo come visit our campus for an hour, which I'll be coordinating with my director and instructor on maybe sharing some of our other students' stories and how adult education has impacted them.
That's fantastic. And I can't wait to see pictures. I can't wait to hear more about it when we meet next. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so my next question is for Leah, and this has to do with community outreach. So as we know, legislative advocacy is just one type of advocacy. We also have different opportunities to provide outreach to our communities, which is something that Leah has taken on since becoming a student ambassador. So Leah, can you just tell us a little bit about your community outreach experiences, and what information do you feel is really important for you to share when you are attending these events?
I'm going to answer the second question first. I believe to communicate adult education. I didn't realize, even for myself, entering into the GED program, that this is a thing. It's a big thing. And it's not that you just go in and somebody gives you a format and you go take a test and you walk out. There really is this full inclusive, showing up, studying, repetition, crying, tears, frustration, trying to understand that this is on my test. This is important. This is real. And I want to bridge the community. Being in Los Lunas, we have Los Lunas, and then we have Peralta, and then we have Rio communities, and then you move over here and you've got another little Tomei, another little community, and we're just all just kind of, Rio communities and blend. We're all just kind of bunched up, and sometimes we don't fall in those gaps. And I want my community to know that continuing education is a thing, and that we are in our environments, young and old, people are pursuing their education. It's important. It always was important to us. We're just not doing it the conventional way. And so with that, sharing that information, that whole goal was to promote fundraising for the COABE conference, is how it started for me. Because I wanted to get all of my co-ambassadors' stories out there, because they're beautiful stories and they're intimate and they're real, and say, hey, there's a group of people in your community that have had experiences like this. And for those of us that are now on this student ambassador leadership training and advocacy train, and we're going full force ahead, not only for ourselves, but for our community. So I was like bridging a gap between yeah, we want recognition. We would love some assistance, but I want you to also know it's not just us. It might be, a customer coming through your door that don't know about continuing education. And I want to backtrack just a little bit. The reason why this has been so big is my son, when he was 13, got an opportunity to go to people ambassadors, and he got to spend 17 days in China. And we had to do community fundraising. There was so much that the program would allot, but this was his leadership training at 13 years old to go to his Cub Scouts or, his Boy Scouts, or to go to the soccer, or to go here or to go there. And I want our ambassadors to make it to Nashville so bad. But I also want to have room and have space that next year, when we have somebody else come from Valencia campus, or come from, Zane's world, or come from, Linnea's world or Samuel's world, that the community is going to see and know that we are active and living, breathing people in our communities. And so the networking is, I think, crucial to getting the word out, not just contacting legislature people, because really when we do get our GED and we do move on to a better job or a different job, or, and we start navigating in life, hopefully we're going to influence our community. And so just kind of bridging some of that stuff together. So I already kind of had an idea of networking stuff, and I've shared with you a couple polka dots. I forget now what it was, but it was like, $400, you can come back if you want to pay $400 to come into our little fancy group and connect the dots. And I'm like, yeah, no, I just, sorry, but I'm doing networking among businesses that do networking. I mean, we need to bridge businesses. Like, you go out, you hand out your business card, and I've got little things like with our little stories. I'm like, hey, do you know about continuing education? Do you have somebody in your business that doesn't have their GED? Maybe you could sponsor them. Maybe you could help them. Maybe you could promote them. Here's a reason why. And I can hand over what you guys have shared in our little stories that we have for the COABE conference flyers and stuff. And so why not? Just to broaden the thinking, break the mundane, tiny steps that are going to be bigger steps for other people down the road. And that's my vision. That's my focus, I believe, in our group, and what we're doing is that we need to just slather New Mexico with the idea that continuing education is important, and our stereotypes don't matter anymore, and that we all are moving forward in what we're doing. We're not just getting the GED and stopping. We have goals, we have ideas, we have plans, we have bigger impacts later on down the road in this stepping stone of our life right now. And that's why I am choosing my route in this and doing the networking and trying to get everybody's stories out there. I think it's that important.
That is so wonderful. And you are very right in that. What came to my mind when you were talking is this ripple effect. You talk to two people and you reach two people. Those two people are going to talk to other people. And some of those people are also going to talk to legislators. So it's really increasing that impact. It is building on that impact. You care about your communities, as you should, and it will go out beyond those communities. And so thank you so much for sharing, because that is really crucial in ambassadorship. Thank you.
This interview will continue on the next part of this episode. Thank you for listening to the NMEA podcast.